Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to LadyGang. I'm Becca Tobin here with Jac and Keltie Knight.
And a special guest.
So we're eating cookies. I'm swallowing it. I'm not going to be gross. I'm sitting here with little Ford Martin because he is having a lot of separation anxiety from us this summer. He just spent the last hour with my mom and my sister, and I heard him screaming in the other room. So he's here with me now to do Good Week, Bad Week.
And he seems good. Ford, how's your week going?
He seems a little distraught.
Do you want to try some of
say
this?
something. Oh, he wants to try.
How's your cookie? No, he says no.
No,
he's not a podcaster yet.
All right. Well, let's get into it.
Okay. It's time for
Good Week.
Yes, it is.
Bad Week. Oh, no.
If it's okay with you guys, I'm going to do mine and then I'm going to get off.
Okay.
Is that okay? Want to read that?
Honestly, I think this sticks as your bad week.
Guys, this is my bad week. Okay, well, this is motherhood, and I'm going to leave the LadyGang right now and take care of my...
We'll text you when Alexis is on.
Okay, love you guys.
Bye.
We love you. Oh my God, that's hilarious. Bye, Ford. We love you.
Bye.
Honestly, this is the most LadyGang thing that's ever happened. Okay, you want to go first or I'll go first?
I'll
go
go
first.
first. I'll go first. Okay, so my good week is that I am back in the LadyGang Facebook group.
Hell yeah!
It's been a while. I'm back in there. And you know what? It is. I've been missing a lot. It's fun in there.
I know.
I'm finally understanding what you keep talking about. I'm back in.
No, I think it was just we were at a very high pressure time when we had to like take a little break. But I think the way you came back in and everyone's like welcomed you with open arms and people are so into house stuff right now. Like you're the mayor of LadyGang Facebook group. It really is we have 8 moderators around the world and we've changed a lot of things in the group. So one of them is that they have to approve every post. So we used to have it set up, which was absolute chaos that like anything posted just went up. So you could literally be like Jac Vanek and it would like go up. And it's like, so now they're really moderating and they'll be like, hey, and we don't let everything go through. Even if it's like a super normal conversation, they'll just be like, I think this is like a place where things could get ugly and girls could fight. And that just seems like not something we want. So we just keep it very chill, but it's lovely.
Well, and that's the thing about Facebook groups is like no matter what it is, everyone ends up imploding if there's not any sort of like moderation going on. It doesn't matter literally if it's Mother Teresa's Facebook group. Like shit is going to go crazy once it gets to be like a certain size. So but I love it. There's already another gal in there that has a tri-level house that she's like, I need help renovating how hard is a tri-level house? I'm like, oh, let me get in there. And then I love voting on people's outfits. Like I'm really having a ball. Like it's just so much fun in there. And I love all of our LadyGang. It just feels a lot more connected being in there.
Yeah, I love it. I know this like LadyGang 2.0 is a real special thing. So once Becca gets a handle on her life, which as you just heard, she doesn't have, she's gonna pop back into, which is gonna be really, really fun. But especially for tour, it's like, picking our outfits, like girls are like, is this the vibe? I'm like, yes. But also you need a sparkly hat. Like I literally looked for a top hat that could be like I could take off and then a tiny top hat underneath.
Shut up.
Yes, but they're not making tiny top hats the way they used to.
Like on a headband?
It used to be like tons of options, like Hot Topic style with like a little clip.
Yeah.
And now it's like, it's really just like jokey, like Irish ones for like St. Patrick's Day. And I was just disappointed by the ability. Like I'm going to have to craft my own if I want it. And I'm already crafting so much. I don't have time.
Maybe they have like a one for like a little kid or something, like a baby top hat.
Oh,
Have you figured it out?
I spend an hour in glam every day, just like searching the internet for things for tour. And trust me,
I really need you to do the top hat. That's such a funny idea.
So funny, right?
It's so good. But yeah, I think everybody should send in their outfits for tour because I love voting on an outfit. And I also love when I go to vote and my option is the same as everybody else's chose. I'm like, okay, I know that we're in the same collective mindset right here that I didn't choose the ugly option.
No, you're right. And, it's amazing. It's amazing. So if you guys want to join the LadyGang Facebook group, you just go on Facebook and then you search groups and it'll be the LadyGang and you have to answer 3 questions like who's your favorite member of the LadyGang? And the correct answer is Keltie.
I had to join it and I had to answer all the questions.
Yeah. And you're like, Jac, it's me, motherfucker. I saw you. I saw how you like.
It's me. I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah. Join our Facebook group. I love it. My bad week is one of my nightmares came true and I rode in a driverless car. Did you see my
saw
post about that?
this.
They're called Waymo. They're only in Phoenix, I think. I think it's like their test area, but it's an Uber that doesn't have a driver. It's a driverless car. And it is so insane. Like, I'm sure I'm not the only person that has nightmares where you're in a car and all of a sudden nobody's at the wheel. And your mind's always going down. My parents, like, they live on a hill. It's going down their hill at full speed, just total chaos.
No.
And I think it just means you don't have control in your life or something. That's what that dream means. But yeah, they have them and they pick you up. They just like show up, you get in, you can like play your own music. They have help, like if you press a button and you need help with something, and then they just drive you to your destination. It's crazy. It's crazy that they work.
Did you feel like the driverless car was a good driver?
Yes, I did.
Like a better driver than Keltie.
Yeah. Yes. There was like even a situation where it went into those, like, you know, the middle line that have like both ways can go to turn, like a turn lane for both.
Yeah.
And it went in there and this other car like was going to like go in at the same time, and it corrected itself like right away. It's very reactive to things going on. It's just really scary because you feel like it doesn't have any idea what it's doing. And I'm sure that there's errors that happen all the time with it.
Sure.
But there's human errors of people driving. So many people shouldn't even be on the road. So I kind of trust the driverless car, but it is the weirdest feeling in the world because you're looking up and the wheel is moving around and there's nobody there. But it was a nightmare, but I enjoyed it.
Let me tell you this. I feel like we're so connected right now in our lives.
Okay.
Because my bad week also has to do with driving.
Oh God. Okay.
So I was so excited to go. I have found the holy grail of anti-aging treatments. So this is not my good week, but this is a pre-story.
Okay.
So I'm trying to be a better wife. And so like a couple weekends ago, Chris was like, do you want to go meet our friend for lunch? And I was like, not really. It's a Saturday. I would rather just be at home with my books and my dog. But I was like, sure. And he was like, okay. And we went to this place that it was like this hole in the wall place in Pasadena that made very spicy food. None of this I enjoyed. But what I did find when I was walking out is next door was this place called Shiatsu of Pasadena. Now, I know that I'm never going to be able to get an appointment after I talk about this on the podcast. Like I'm very like having a very Skinny Confidential moment where like now she's going to say like go. Anyway, it was $160, which is so spendy for a facial, but like it was 90 minutes and they did cleanser, a mask, and then like half an hour facial massage, gua sha, cupping on the face where they like cup your chin and then they drag it. So you didn't get like the hickey marks. Then a full face and body acupuncture. Like I probably had 60 needles in my face.
Oh my God.
And then they put this giant dome on me for anti-aging light.
The oxygen dome?
Yeah.
Oh,
no, it was not oxygen. It was blue light or red light or whatever. And then they took it off and they did a collagen mask with like fibers in it that like sat on your face. So it was 90 minutes. It wasn't like extractions. There was no like steam. There was none of that. I swear to God, my skin, it was better than Morpheus. I know that's wild. Like I've done every laser under the sun. Not right away. Like I didn't walk out a beauty. But like 2 days later, the amount of puff, it was like a lymphatic exercise for your face. And I've never had, it was great. I will be doing it before all the big red carpets. Like I really feel like it worked. Anyway, that's not part of my story. But that's just like where I was going.
Wait, it's one random place. It's not like that's the type of massage. It's just the place.
No. It was like this woman, this acupuncturist, facialist in Pasadena, but it felt very much like when I was in Hong Kong, when I lived in Hong Kong for the summer, like 20 years ago, we used to go across the street to this place and they would do like a similar treatment.
Yeah.
But it was just like, I think it was just like getting the muscles to move and all that. Anyway, I feel amazing. I really am happy with the treatment.
Jealous.
But here's where the bad week was. I made the appointment on a Friday, which is I don't have e-news on Friday, and Derek doesn't work on Fridays. He only works 4 days a week normally. And so I had to drive myself. And you know I'm the worst driver. Well, there's a street in Pasadena. First of all, one-way streets, I hate you. You're only supposed to exist in Europe. Like if you're a one-way street, this street in Pasadena is 4 lanes, like how it looks, it should be 2 lanes going one way and 2 lanes going the other way, but it's just 4 lanes going all one way. So I'm
Weird.
driving and I pass the place and I wanted to U-turn to like go park in front of it. And I make the U-turn and then I hit what's it called when the car is like an intersection? I hit an intersection and there's cars on the right and left like that are stopped at the red. And I would technically have the green, but I look up and there's no traffic lights. And I was like, there's no traffic lights. I don't know if I should go or stop. So I'm like on the brake and then or whatever. And then they're all honking at me and like shouting at me. And I was like, I'm sorry. I don't know where I'm going. I'm lost. I realized I was driving the wrong way down the one-way street. And the reason there was no lights is because the lights only face the other way because it's a one-way. I was looking at the back of the lights.
Oh my God.
And I was so lucky. It was like a Friday at 10. There was no one on the road because it was very confusing. And then I just remembered why I don't drive places I've never been.
What do you think is more embarrassing? You doing that or me driving over the spike strip and blowing 3 of my tires?
You mind driving through the spike strip is like, it's my worst nightmare and so funny. Especially because you are like in the LadyGang known as the best driver of the LadyGang.
Which doesn't say a lot, but yeah.
It says nothing. It's literally, but like Becca's always crashing into things. I'm a terrible driver. Like you're all we have. Like when we have to drive ourselves, we're like, Jac will drive.
I am the driver. Yeah, that's true.
You know?
Oh God.
Okay, so but I do have a good week. So my good week is that Derek has come up with a name for you and Becca. So now that Derek, my assistant, is working for me, he's doing a lot more LadyGang stuff. Now that he sort of has like Keltie life on lock, he's now doing some LadyGang stuff. And when he needs to say something to both of you, like when he needs to ask a question, he's like, do I need to ask Becca and Jac? He has found a way to save time and he has named you Jecka.
Oh my God. Jacka or Jecka?
Jecka. Jecka. So he says, do we need to run this by Jecka? You know, because sometimes, or he's like, do I need to get approval from Jecka? And then I'll be like, send this to Jecka. And he knows to send it to both Becca and Jac.
That's cute. It's our celeb name.
Isn't that so cute?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's up with Jecka? And he's like, have you talked to Jecka? Did Jecka know? I'm like, can you check if Jecka is available for this date or whatever? It's great. And I'm into saving time. So
I love it. I'm into it.
We don't have Jecka today because Ford's having a meltdown, but it's real life. Listen, I think it's so funny on TikTok. All of Becca's mothering clips go viral because like it's real. It's real. She's trying to like, the baby only wants mom and it's podcast time, you know?
I know. I'm like, oof.
I know.
I'm going to put off kids a little bit longer.
Well, you know, I mean, people are, not that we don't get into politics on this, but this podcast, but I was pretty upset to hear that people are like childless cat ladies being mean to them. And then I was like, you know, a childless lady can get more done because no baby is trying to get my attention right now. I locked my dog in another room and I'm making to-do lists. So don't come for the childless ladies because we can really get shit done.
It's very, very true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. When we come back, Alexis Bellino from The Real Housewives of the OC is here. And Becca has put her child down for a nap and she's back.
The LadyGang.
Okay, guys. Our guest today is a longtime fan favorite member of The Real Housewives of the OC, a dog-loving, hopeless romantic who is living, laughing, and loving her way through life. She returns to the OC this season of the show with a new lease on life and a new man, and it's feeling very Jac and Keltie. We'll get into that in a minute. Here to discuss housewives holding down a house and sharing an ex is the very beautiful Alexis Bellino. Welcome to the LadyGang Queen.
Hi, girls.
Welcome.
Wow, that was nice. Thanks.
So the most important thing that you need to know about LadyGang. So Jac, Keltie, Becca here. Jac and I share a mutual ex.
Yeah.
And so this is the perfect podcast for you to appear on for this season of OC.
So you're not judging me. I get one person on the planet or two that don't judge me.
No, it's the reason why we're such good friends and why we're business partners is because of our mutual ex. So we understand.
Well, it brought you guys together then. There you go.
Yeah.
You're in the awkward moment right now where you're still dating him. So you know, we don't know if this is your forever person. You may never get to a Jac and Keltie.
I won't ever get there with Shannon. No, this is my forever. And so it's not going to look like we'll be in business together in the future. Like, but I need to tell you girls something real quick. Before I know we're supposed to only have 30 minutes. And if we go over, I don't care, by the way. This was not my decision that we had only 30 minutes anyways.
Okay.
But so I've been listening to you girls for I mean, my kids were 14, and 15 because I was taxi cab for that entire time. So in between running everywhere with them, waiting in carpool, all of that, I would listen to you guys. And Keltie, one of the episodes, there was something, I love your good week, bad week, by the way, but there was one episode where you were so honest and raw and you're like, my bad week is I have a yeast infection or something.
Yeah, and there's been many since then.
I peed my pants. I was like, this is so funny. So
this is very flattering. We are.
This is an
honor. This is an honor.
Wow. I feel so cool. So first of all, listen, so this is for people who don't, we get a lot of comments that people are like, oh, I didn't know. If you're not watching this season of OC Housewives, you absolutely have to watch, but just a little backstory. So Alexis was on many years ago. She was in a different marriage. We've seen her go through this divorce. Now she's back on the show. She's longtime friends with, Heather and some of the OGs, which is amazing. You're back. You're back. You look freaking amazing, but you are now in love with John Jansen, who is Shannon Bedore's ex. And so it has been a real lunchtime dinner party from hell situation for you guys. But I actually think this, and the reason we wanted to invite you on LadyGang, not only because we're Housewives fans, we have so many girls that are in blended families, mixed things like this. And I think this is something that people don't talk about. And so the fact that, girl A needs to see guy with new girl and how to handle that, how to be the new girl, how to be the ex-girl. Like, I think this is a really interesting conversation for women. And we've never had the opportunity to have it before. So I want to get to that. But before we do, how is it to be back?
It's been, oh God. I mean, honestly, it depends on, I've had this question a lot, and it depends on the minute or the hour because there are so many emotions that go in. People don't realize that filming a reality show is very difficult. It's not, and not just everyone can do it. Not just everyone can be a reality person because it's taxing on your mental health because of the fact that you're like, oh my gosh, I really said that. And you get home and you're beating yourself up all night, but then you're like, well, that was a funny moment. And so you go through all this emotion of like scripted, you guys, a lot of you know, is like, you take your hat off and you're not Allison anymore. You can go back to being Alexis. But in reality, it doesn't work that way. So it's you, and whether it's edited or whether it really is something you effed up, it's there for good. So it's just hard. But I've loved being with the girls. I've missed Heather and Tamara so much. We've all stayed in contact. Obviously, you can tell you'll see through the season, it's an organic friendship. And I've really loved meeting the new girls. Like I have a true friendship. It's not, I feel like some of the reality shows, I don't know if I should say this, but I feel like some of the Housewives franchises or any of the reality shows, it's like they're there for a job, but they don't really have a friendship. But like Jen and Katie and I go to lunch once every couple of weeks. Like we try to stay connected. I talk to Heather and Tamara a lot. It's like we don't have the time to just be out shopping or doing bonbons because we're busy. But it's fun because they're our friends and we're going to have hiccups and we're going to fight and you guys are going to get to see it all. But it's been really cool.
It also works for this season with the love triangle. Well, it's not a love triangle, but whatever you call it, because it's not producers that are just throwing you in to like piss people off. It's that you're genuinely friends with all these other girls, and then the ex happens to be in the same friend group. Like that happens all the time. All like Keltie's saying, everywhere.
Yeah, but the weird part about this and why it's such a good season and why it is true reality is because when I was being talked to about coming back on the show, I didn't even know John's name. I didn't even, he wasn't even in my hemisphere at all because I hadn't been watching a lot. I watched a little bit when Tamara came back because I was excited to see her, and Heather's my friend. So I was watching her too a little, but John was not even a thought or a nothing. And so in November 18th is the day I met him, and I was talking to them before that. So a lot of the misconception out there is that I'm on the show because I was dated him and started dating him, and we didn't start dating right away. We stayed friends and tried not to date, knowing what this would do and be like. And I was talking about going back and still thinking, no, I just don't think I'm ready. I just lost my mom. I wasn't as strong as I am now. And you'll see a lot of that through this season. I am an emotional basket case because I started filming 3 months after my mom passed, and she was my ride or die. Like she was my soulmate person, So thank you. And I'm not going to get emotional. I promise myself that every time I talk about it, but it's important for the story because of everybody understanding me coming back, because I I didn't know if I was going to come back or not. And then John and I become really good friends, and the tabloids are all saying, oh, we're dating. And I was mad because I'm like, we are not dating. So I was putting stuff out on Instagram and out in the media, kind of like slapping him in the face, like, yeah, he's my good friend. And we are kind of attached at the hip, but we're not dating. And then it happened. And then I did end up signing. So it all kind of was like a real thing, you know? And John and I went back and forth. Like if we wouldn't kiss or touch or do anything, because we were like, if we become something, this has to be like legitimate, like real, because otherwise we are going to be the villains, and we're going to be the villain no matter what, but it's going to be horrible. Whether I go back to Housewives or I don't, we're going to get annihilated. And it happens, and it is still happening, but it's, you know, it's all so organic how it happened. And I want you girls to know that.
Yeah.
What I thought was interesting is that like it appeared for so long that John like hated being on reality TV. Like it was like, and maybe that was because he was maybe not with his right match. Do you know what I mean? But it was like he kind of seemed grumps and like didn't want to like play, and like, you know, he really enjoyed driving the boat, but other than that, like was not like, he wasn't a Terry DeBro where you were like, oh,
you
wow,
know more
like
about it than I do. I haven't seen any of those episodes.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. So he just didn't seem like, and that might have been because he was maybe not in a relationship that was serving him, because we've all been that person where we're not our best selves. So he seemed like he wasn't super happy to be there or like whatever. And so when we saw you guys get together, I was like, wait a second, this is so crazy, because this is a man who like does not want to be in the spotlight. He does not want to be a part of this world. So that must have been like a big conversation, right? Because you're going back to the show. This is your livelihood. This is a world you've been in. And it's like, oh God, like this is going to be a part of his life again. Like, was there ever a discussion of you going on without like you couldn't possibly do it without your relationship? That would have been weird.
There's twofold to this answer for you. Number one, a lot of the rumors and things you have heard about John are not true. And they came from a source that is incredible, which you will find out this season as it unfolds. Okay? I'm going to leave it there. Wink, wink. Okay. So the fact that he did not want to be on camera was a lot of it because, there were certain things that were happening behind the scenes, obviously. And also they didn't have a good relationship.
Right.
But it wasn't, he was so scared of being on camera. She was trying to cover up some of the things that was happening behind the scenes and then saying, oh, he doesn't want to be on camera. Well, there's so much more to the truth of that I can't get into.
Right.
However, don't believe everything you've heard about him, or any of it actually, because it's all false. And I will be making it clear. Okay.
Yeah.
But the other part to that is, yes, we did have the conversation, and he actually, you're getting firsthand information here. He actually offered to pay me what they were going to pay me to not go back on the show. Okay.
Whoa.
As much as he's like, I love you enough. I don't want you to do it. It's a toxic world.
Yeah.
And, you know, our relationship is too pure and natural and great. And I don't want them to rip this up. And I had just come from, you know, as you saw on previous years of when I was on the show,
Yeah.
I quit my career. I am a college educated woman. I had a very good career. I was making 80 grand out of college when I met Jim. And I quit my career, which I know that doesn't sound like a lot. You can't even have anything here for 80 grand, but it was a lot for me, you know, at the time. And I quit because Jim and I wanted to raise a family. I wanted to be the stay-at-home mom and be the full dedicated mom and wife and all of that, which I know I get judged for, but that is, people can make that decision. It is Leave It to Beaver. There's the women's movement that everyone needs to work. And you girls are such go-getters. And now obviously I want to work and I don't want that anymore. My kids are grown. But, you know, I looked at him and I just said, Johnny, I love you, but I have to do this for me. I already did this with Jim. I'm not going to make that mistake again. And I don't know how long it'll last or what it is, but I do feel that I want to go back, because I had a psychic reading and my mom said, you need to go back, because I was saying no to Bravo. And I said no to going back. And then the night I had a 4 o'clock, it was 4 p.m. the next day that I had to have my decision in by or something like that. And I was like, it's a no. And so I called my psychic and I said, I need a reading. Didn't tell her what it was about. I said, I have to make a decision. And I was a no up until I met with her. And then my mom came through and said, girlfriend, Jesus didn't take the wheel. I did. Now you get your big girl pants on and you go. And you're going back. And so Jesus Take the Wheel is my mom and I's song. And she had just passed. And so I was like, whoa. I called John right away and I said, honey, I'm sorry. I am going back. And he's like, you just said no, you weren't. I'm like, sorry, done, going back. called my agent, like, or my manager, everything just flipped. And I was like, okay. And I never looked back from that point on. It was like, we're doing it, babe. We're doing it.
Holy shit.
I love
That's
that.
crazy.
He's been very supportive. You'll see, he doesn't film this year with me, and he, has done red carpets, and he isn't shy about being out, especially we're happy and in love. So
Yeah.
if he wants to tote along with me, it's kind of the package deal, it's
Yeah.
kind of
Right.
like my kids are my deal. My job is my deal. So
I want to go back to you talking about, you don't have to talk about it, but just the fact that you're grieving on national television on a reality show 3 months after losing your mom. And I know that it must have been really, really hard. And I'm sure there's moments that you're going to watch and be like, who is that person? It's a little, grief makes people unrecognizable. I can't think of the examples, but I feel like we've seen a couple of women go onto a reality show couple months after a big loss like that. And I'm
Lisa
happy.
Rinna is a great example.
Yes. And I'm actually thrilled that we now can watch women do something like this, even though it's not your proudest moments, but it's just to show the world, if you haven't gone through something that's so heartbreaking, that's such deep grief, that like it kind of gives you more permission as a grieving person to like have it out there so much. I don't know if this is making sense, but it's like, if you have never lived with it and you've never seen it close and firsthand, you can watch these women on shows that you feel like for several years, and then they go through something so traumatic or sad. And it's like, oh, we all change at those times. Like we are not ourselves in those times. And it's actually like nice to be able
So
to
true.
portray that on a reality show, as hard as it is. Cause now we give people, I know for myself, I give a lot of women in my life so much leeway when
Yeah.
they're grieving. And a lot of it has been watching women do it on reality TV.
yeah, it's funny because my mom died in August. I reached out to Spencer, who's my on my team, and I said, I'm ready to work. I think it was September-ish, October. I said, I'm ready to work. If you'll take me back and Housewives is not, or if you'll take me as a client and Housewives isn't an option, I'm ready to go to work. Like I've done commercials, I've done scripted, I've done other things. I'm like, I'm ready. So just let's do it. Let's dive in. Because I needed something to get me out of bed every day. I went through a really dark time after she passed. And I was like, I either have to pick myself up and get up out of bed and do something, or I'm going to become a statistic too, So
Yeah.
I did. And he said, no problem. And we started working and it was awesome. I didn't know the roller coaster I would go through when you throw yourself behind cameras or in front of cameras when you're still grieving. There's so many times I cry that are weird, or just like, and the stress of, there's some other things that this is such a good season. I can't spoil anything. You guys know that. But like, there's a couple times when like the ladies can sense things or know things. And it's just like, I mean, the tears just come, and I know it's still part of the process. In my mind, I'm like, gosh, this is not going to read great on camera because I look like an idiot, but it's really, I'm still grieving. I'm still emotionally, and a lot of what people don't understand is I lost my mom and my fiance at that time on the same week. I broke it off with my fiance on that same week. So I lost my past, which is my mom, and my future vision that I had in my future, at the same, within 5 days of each other. So I was just so heartbroken beyond like just losing a mom. I was beyond heartbroken. And obviously my ex-fiance and I went through a lot of like, okay, we got to try to make it work. Can we not, for the next couple months before I met John. But that's also part of the equation, which is so interesting, is like, how can you have loved someone and thought you were going to be engaged or be married to them, and then all of a sudden fall so deeply in love. But Johnny and I started as best friends, and he was picking up the whole time. He was picking up all these broken pieces of my mom and all that, and just it was like literally he was putting pieces back together for me. He was building me back up, like helping me just get through each day. And it's what I needed. And if people say he got you at a vulnerable time, yeah, he probably did. But guess what? He's my rock, and we have such a relationship that no one will understand until it starts to unfold more on TV,
Do you
or
think your
just
mom
in life.
sent him to you?
I do. And I've said that in another podcast on the 2 T's in a Pod. That day on November 18th, I was literally leaving the restaurant with my 2 gay friends, and they're my really close buddies. And had paid the check and we were leaving, and he walked in and sat down in the booth next to me, and he had a friend with him, a girl, with him that was had done. We'd been in philanthropy stuff together, and we just knew each other through town, kind of thing. And she comes over and she sits down and she's like, "Oh my gosh, John's right there. And you guys were on the same TV show. You should talk and say hi or whatever." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Oh, hi. And so then his whole group came to my booth, and we all just started powwowing. And that's how it happened. But it was like, I was so anti ever going to date. I wasn't even looking at a guy at all. It was just single, right? And I wasn't even thinking about anybody being hot or not or taking me on a date. I was going to sushi with a couple other guys just that were friends that were wanting a little bit more or what have you. But like, I just was in such a weird place. And I swear on everything in my body that my mom was like, "He is for you. Like, this is the one, Lex."
That's so crazy.
Okay, not to change the subject, but there's another very questionable thing happening on OC this season that we must discuss.
Okay.
I have so many things to say about Jennifer, but I'm not saying anything. I'm going to wait till the end of the season. But the most important thing I need to say is Ryan and Jen are drinking Malibu rum and Diet Pepsi. What the actual Alexis?
Why does that make everybody so weird? I mean, I tasted it. It does taste like a little pint or coconutty Coke, Coca-Cola. But so, yeah, it's just their thing. It's their thing. And look at their bodies. So if that's what you need to drink to look like
working.
that, okay. I mean, I'll pump that stuff in here, okay?
Also gasped when I heard the order. It was really alarming, but
So that's
I
like
think
a go-to drink order that's
it's
happening?
their go-to drink order. But I think that they could corner the market here and have some sort of a line. That could be her business venture. Like maybe it's some
I'm
sort
going
of
to tell her you said that, Becca.
canned.
I'm going to tell her.
She could crush because it probably, and I also, in my mind, when I heard the order, I was judging it and going, "Ew, gross." But then I thought, I bet it tastes delicious.
It's very sweet, and I don't like. I used to love sweets, and now I'm like the salt and vinegar girl. Like I'm like just dump the salt in my mouth. But it's very sweet, but it is good. It's like light and refreshing, and it kind of makes you feel like you're going to go lay on the beach somewhere.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like I'm throwing up in the back of like a forest in high school.
No,
because
it's very high
orange
school.
juice and Malibu rum is like
Boone's. What's that wine?
Boone's Farm.
Yes,
Boone's
yeah,
Farm.
The green and purple wine, yeah.
Well, it's
Malibu
funny
rum
that
is like a syrup.
I didn't know it must be a big deal for you to even have brought it up. So I didn't even know it was like such a big thing out there. I just think it's them. So I was like, oh, okay.
You're welcome. Okay. So when we come back with Alexis, we have collected a lot of this famous, "Am I the asshole?" is the thing on Reddit, but we collected them from our LadyGang group, and they all have to do with sort of circular Jac Keltie Alexis situation. So we're going to vote and see if our girls are assholes when we come back.
Oh gosh.
Am I an asshole? I feel like my friend has ridiculous standards. Am I a jerk if I tell them that their dating standards are too high?
Oh God.
Oh God, I have a friend right now like that though. But I'm just like, you are turning. So what she's saying is her friend is turning away too many other good guys because of one little thing, like he drinks milk from a straw kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Drinks Malibu rum and Diet Coke, but milk from a straw is also
Milk
disgusting.
from a straw is
Daddy issues.
I literally have a friend. I hope she never listens to this because she's going to know who she is. Because I've actually had this talk with her. I'm like, you need to it's not like dumb down, but it's like nobody's perfect. And unless you're 22, you're never going to find someone that doesn't have baggage of some sort.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know what? If their looks isn't everything you wanted, or if they don't drive the car you expect them to have, or they haven't reached the goal you want them to have at this time in their life, it's like there's things you've got to have a checklist of your top 5. I firmly believe in that and write them out and manifest it. But other than that, it's like you're going to have to like let some things go, sweetie. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, and it's like anybody that has these like the ridiculously high standards, it's always materialistic or it's how much money they make. It's never like, I really just want to find somebody that's kind and
not a murderer.
reliable. And it's always like, I need to find somebody rich and 6'5". So it's like, it's never the stuff that matters. As somebody who did that for a
he
long,
doesn't
long
get
time.
his toenails done perfectly or groomed. You know, there's just so many stupid things that people say.
I mean, but I can't if he doesn't get his
The
toenails
feet.
done.
I do agree with that, but it's almost like if he missed
We
a
can
couple
train
months
him.
or
We
whatever,
can train him.
it's like
And
that's true. But like, it doesn't have to be as on point as all of us. I mean,
Yeah.
I want it to be groomed also in every area, but like, yeah. So I just think there's a lot of standards that are a little too. Everyone has high standards. Don't get us wrong. We live in California, but oh, by the way, Jack, you just moved to OC.
She's the newest housewife.
I know you want to hang out. I need friends.
You better be ready for that phone to ring. I'm telling you, Bravo's going to be calling you.
Oh,
Yes,
no.
please.
Yes, please. I could never. It's my nightmare.
dream. It's my dream. Okay, so this one's for you, Alexis. She says, Alexis, I so feel you. I dated this guy who was a total loser. I mean, cheated on me constantly, was dating 3 of us at one time. It was bad. He posed nudes of me online. Yes, charges were pressed.
Oh.
This is so dark. Anyway, I moved in with him and he had a roommate who owned the condo. Well, said roommate and I got to be good friends, like best friends. He would come from home from the gym and see me crying on the couch and say, why are you doing this to yourself? One night we went to a Halloween bar crawl and I got wasted. He took care of me that night. And when he thought I was asleep, he confessed to me that he was in love with me. About a year later.
He thought she was
Whoa.
asleep?
Well, he
Yeah.
thought she was passed out. Yeah.
Yeah, he
So
was
he was-
whispering to her.
He was saying it as
Like she's in a coma.
Does he like necrophilia too?
Yeah, right? This is questionable.
This is crazy.
No, it's cool.
Okay,
It's cool.
about
I like it. I like
About
it.
a year later, I realized that I had feelings for him after he started dating another girl. I
Oh.
confessed my feelings and we started dating. We got pregnant a month into dating. We've been together 9 years and married for 2. He's my absolute best friend and our story is so unique. I had to break bro code and lost some friends, but I'm super happy and know I did the right thing.
Girl, I love that story, and I'm like, this is
Yeah.
a Hallmark movie, okay? Without the
Without the
Without the-
She's in a coma.
a little bit of okay. But this is such a great story. I need to address one part of this though. She referred to breaking boy code and or bro code or whatever. One of the things out there right now is that I broke girl code with dating him because of Shannon, which I don't even want to say the name, so I'll just say she from now on. However,
But you guys were not friends.
not friends.
Were you ever on the show together?
Never on the show together, so never filmed. Didn't know her from any whatever. Like there was no girl code broken with this relationship with John, okay? And by the way, if we had been, the love that John and I have is so off the charts and unstoppable that I think I might have broken girl code. I want the rumor to die because it didn't happen. But I'll be honest and say, I think John and I could have fought it for a year or 2 or whatever. But I think the universe was moving to put us together. Like it was just going to happen no matter what. And that was my mom on the other side saying she deserves him. He's the greatest guy ever. He's been wronged in the media by somebody who we shall remain nameless. And it's, you guys are meant to be. So.
Have you heard anything from your ex-husband regarding you going back on the show?
I mean, we're friendly. And we've raised, my kids moved in with me full time a few years ago, but so we're still co-parenting. And he moved to Palm Desert to do a restaurant. So we've just had a lot of moving parts in our co-parenting. But he, doesn't have any say in it, and he didn't really give me any advice other than, like everybody needs a job, and you need to do something to get out of bed. But we don't really have a conversation. We don't talk. He called me after the first episode and was like, wow, you nailed that. Like, good job. I'm so proud of you. That kind of thing.
Wow.
Yeah. But other than that, I mean, and John and him have met and we've been at family events together with them in the same room because it's just like, I mean, Jim and I have been divorced for 6 years now, and we have 16 and an 18-year-old and a kid going to college. And it's like, there's just too many things. People are going to start getting married and grandkids and all this stuff coming about in our family soon. And so it's like, we have to just merge the families together. So it's been interesting, but good, I'd say.
Good. Nice.
I also think it's like, before we get to this next one, like at a certain point, it's like the circles are small. Do you know what I mean? Like we think there's this like big, huge world out there, but it's like, we know that like, people at work kind of meet each other, or people who go to the same restaurant. Like, I mean, the world is not that big. So it's not crazy to think like at a certain age or at a certain time, or even when you're young, I guess, but like there's only so many people that are like divorced, single, still looking for love. Like, you know what I mean? So
For
it's like,
sure.
it's not
But
that crazy.
It's so funny you say that because in another interview I had, I said almost the exact same thing. I'm like, by the time John's 61, and by the way, Jim was 61, and I was like, I don't ever want to, 55 was my cutoff. That was my dating. I was like, and I know I was putting myself in a box, but so I was kind of being like the first person that you were talking about or lower your standards. But like, I was like, I'm not going to 61 again. I'm going to stay at 55 and under. And I meet him, but wait, where were we going with this?
It's like a small circle. Like there's not that many. It's hard to find love anyway.
There's not going to be anyone that hasn't had a girlfriend or a boyfriend that you know of or have talked to or have some way. The spider web is just small. It's just, I said the exact same thing.
Okay, the next Am I the Asshole? My husband, Mark, died in a car accident 5 years ago. His best friend, Edgar, was the best man at our wedding, and they were friends for their entire adult lives. I always liked him before, but we never had more than a passing friendship while Mark was alive. Edgar was really the only person who's consistently been there for me, and we've talked about it, and we both have romantic feelings for each other and have decided to give dating a try. Mark was the only person I ever dated before. We were childhood sweethearts. Am I the asshole?
I say no. I say that Mark probably tried to align some of that as well because he knows his best friend is a good person, like from the other side, knows his best friend is a great guy and probably was like, she can't be alone the rest of her life on this planet, So I don't think that's an asshole. And I think the fact that they both took took time, kind of like John and I were like, this has to be real. And it can't just be, we have like some kind of chemistry. Like it needs to be we need to know there's another step to that. I think that shows that they both have respect for Mark and have respect for the situation they were getting into. So I say no, not an asshole.
Yeah, I agree.
It's very common after spouses pass away for the remaining widow or widower to actually have a relationship. Sometimes it's just sex, which is crazy, but real. With someone who is close with the dead person.
Well, and
it's very common.
You're so hurting. You're so in so much pain. Anything that will give you any kind of joy or make you feel good, it's like that's what you need at the moment. Your heart's broken in pieces. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and with her, it's been 5 years, so it's not like a sort of like you're in the grieving and you're doing things that you probably normally wouldn't do. It
wasn't
so
like
many
tomorrow.
Years.
Like they buried him yesterday, and tomorrow they're together. It was like 5 years. So.
Yeah. So I don't. Yeah, I agree with you guys.
Okay, here we go. This one's good. My sister started dating again, and I always call her after her dates to ask her how it went. During this time of swiping and dating, it seems that she matched with my boss. She never told me about their date until a year after, and during that time, they'd gone on dates. My boss, who I really rarely talk to outside of professional capacity, started sort of having chit-chats with me, and there was a hint that I was getting special treatment. When she told me she was dating my boss, I felt betrayed. I felt angry at my sister and angry at my boss. All of what I thought had been the rewards of my hard work now felt like the product of their relationship. And I have to go back to work knowing that. On one end, I'm happy for her. On the other, I'm just mad. Am I the asshole?
You're not
what
the
a
asshole.
Weird situation.
It's a very weird situation. But in my opinion, like the sister should have told her. Like that is too much information to keep from someone that close to you. If it was your neighbor or somebody kind of like on the perimeter of your life, no, but your sister's your inner circle, like your inner people. So I would have been very upset about that. And it does make you feel like I am not this great of an employee. I'm getting it because my sister's banging the boss,
I wonder if they ever had a conversation about it. Like that's so awkward.
I wish she would have mentioned that. We need to know. So send back in more details about that.
Yeah. This is also this is the plot for a Katherine Heigl movie. Did you guys see that one with Katherine Heigl, Malin Ackerman, and Ed Norton? Mm-hmm. He's the boss. Katherine Heigl works for him. It's a great movie. I wish I could remember the name. But in this version, Katherine Heigl also has a crush on the boss, and then he falls in love with her sister.
Oh my God.
Great movie. Great movie.
What's the name of that?
I don't know. It's Katherine Heigl, Ed Norton. You have to look it up. And Malin Ackerman.
Yeah, I need to watch that.
Yeah, the sister, that seems weird that the sister didn't. But maybe the boss was like, please do me a favor. Or no, that's weird. That would be weird for him to ask her to keep this from her sister. That's strange. It's strange.
It needed to just come out of the – once they had date number 4 or 5 and they knew it was going to be something, and Kat needed to come out of the bag. I get keeping it hidden for a minute, like just a hot second to take a break and go, okay, maybe we're only going to have 2 dates and then it's over. But like to keep it going for that long is just – it's just
weird.
Too much.
So awkward.
Okay, this is so messed up. This is our last one. Okay. See if you can follow this. It's a little confusing, as love lives tend to be. I have been dating my ex-sister-in-law for 5 months now.
So it's a guy. This is a guy. Or is it a lesbian relationship?
Maybe
my
it's
ex-sister-in-law. So is it a guy writing in?
I think this might be a boy.
Okay.
I've been dating my ex-sister-in-law for 5 months now. It's been a secret, passionate, and wonderful. I'm 27 and she's 24. She divorced. Oh, this is a boy.
Okay.
This is so sorry. I didn't realize we had boys in our group, but here we
straight
go.
guy?
That's what I was
Love
going to
him.
say. I was shocked a male
He's
was writing
straight.
in, but I was like, maybe it's a
Wow.
lesbian couple, so then that would make, I don't know. But
He's
yeah, okay.
straight. Okay, listen.
Okay.
I've been dating my ex-sister-in-law for 5 months now. It's been a secret, passionate, and wonderful. I'm 27 and she's 24. She divorced my 30-year-old brother a year ago after 4 years of dysfunctional marriage.
This is
I
messy.
knew her throughout the entire time and we never crossed any line, but we became best friends. We have similar outlooks on life. She and my brother were not compatible. They had a bad breakup. I initially stayed away, but we've been so close for so long, I decided to message her. We hit it off and now I can say I love her very much and I think she's my soulmate. I haven't told anyone except my
No.
sister and my brother. My mom thinks I shouldn't be dating my brother's ex-wife and my sister thinks I should absolutely keep it a secret from my brother. I feel like the past is past, but if we love each other, that's enough. Am I the asshole?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Can I plead the fifth on this one?
I think
Even if it's your
I think it's too
soulmate,
close. I think it's too close to
No,
home.
even if it's your soulmate, like that's going to make every single time you see your
Christmas.
brother so awkward and like horrible.
Your entire
just-
family is affected by this too, because
Yes.
it does affect every holiday, every birthday, every wedding, every
Conversation that you're going to have with anybody in your family. It's so uncomfortable.
Well, I think if the brother moves on to someone he's madly in love with and has a beautiful relationship with, I think that that's fine to then maybe reintroduce this person. If it's undeniable
but
and
then
you
they've
guys
been dating for like years.
Well,
They're
I
like,
mean,
oh, by the way,
it's going to be awkward. There's going to be a really hard conversation, but the best time to do it is when the brother has found himself happy and in love with someone new. So until then, just like do everything, but be private. Like that's the compromise you have to make. You can't bring her to Christmas. You can't bring her to you've got to keep it very compartmentalized until it's time to make that call or you guys ultimately don't make it and then it wasn't
also,
worth it.
It's better to wait anyway, because if this fizzles out and turns into nothing, you're ruining a family. You don't even, like, I wouldn't even, it's kind of like what Johnny and I were doing at the beginning of our relationship. It's like, make sure you know it's good for good. Like this is the deal, the real deal. Like it's only been 5 months. I don't want to sound like I'm a hypocrite here, because John and I moved very fast and everybody knows that. But there was just something in every part of our bodies that knew it was real. He's only been with it for 5 months, right? 5 months at this moment.
Yeah.
I would wait a couple years or make sure that you want to spend the rest of your life with this woman. And by then his brother might have found his new soulmate, you know?
yeah. But then does everybody feel betrayed because they kept it such a secret for so long?
Yeah. Yeah. But what's the
but
other
they move
option?
on.
What's the other option?
Yeah.
They get over
Ugh.
it.
That's sticky. That's a really sticky one.
Yeah,
so.
that's very sticky.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Sometimes things are sticky in a secret Facebook group, and sometimes things are a little sticky on national television, Alexis. And not only are you entertaining us with your life, you're actually living your life. So I think there's a lot to be said for your strength and like Becca said, like your authenticity in this situation. Like you're just like,
We'll just
this
wait
is
till
what
this
it
week.
is.
You might not like me at the end of this episode.
It's okay.
But that's the thing. That's the thing about
wait.
That's the thing about
We're
Housewives,
not
though.
always likable, no matter who you are. It's like if you're showing your real true self, like it's messy. And when in messy situations, sometimes you're not your best self, or you are forced to be a version of yourself you don't necessarily love all the time. But that's why we love the show so much.
Well, awesome.
Exactly.
Replay that tonight after your,
Okay.
or whenever.
I'm so excited. It's like one of the only shows I like run home and watch appointment television for, because I
Same.
have to know. I don't want to go on the internet and hear everyone talking about it. Like I have to watch it live. So Thursday nights on Bravo, Real Housewives of OC. Alexis, you're incredible. I hope you come back at the end of the season and we can do like a wrap
Let's
up or
do.
something.
And I would love to see, because I can't wait to see how the season goes. It's a very long season. I think it's 17 to 20 episodes, which is very
Holy
long.
shit. Amazing.
Which means there's a lot of baggage to uncover. So I'm excited. I'd definitely love to come back and dish with y'all at the end.
I love it so much. I'm so happy you're back on our televisions. Congratulations. Congratulations on your love and your cute fashion. Have a Malibu rum and Diet Pepsi in the LadyGang's honor. Thank you for being a fan. And we will
See you
see you next Tuesday.